All right, we should now be live on YouTube. If you guys can't hear us or if there is any technical difficulties, make sure to let us know. Obviously, this mic should be working. We'll be passing it around from me to Andrea, who I'll introduce in a little second. But I don't want to waffle on too long at the start of this video because, this is going to be a recorded live stream that will end up on the channel after this. And I think I took a little bit too long to get into the previous live streams. So we're going to jump in. And this is also going to be a shorter one than the other two that I've done previously on the channel. I don't want to speak for 2 hours straight. So we're going to be doing compact 1 hour. As I'm doing this little intro, guys, feel free to post any comments or questions in the chat. And we aim to answer all your questions about Cape Town, South Africa in this live stream. So we've got some questions from the audience on Instagram, as well as you guys tuning in live. Also, just wanted to note that this is not going to be the only piece of content I make on Cape Town, South Africa. I am doing a normal edited video, but when I put it out on Instagram, if anyone had any questions, there was a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't even planning to cover in that video. So that's why we are doing the live stream today. So there's no excuses. If you've been on this live stream, you've asked a question, you should be able to get it answered. Hopefully, we've only got an hour, which is why I don't want to waffle on. And with that said, let me introduce my co-host here, Andrea, who's both a digital nomad and a Cape Town local. So I thought she'd be the perfect person to join me on this live stream. Do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Hey, everyone. How do I get used to this mic? Hey, everyone. I'm Andrea. Like Chris said, I'm a local Cape Townian from South Africa, but I've been nomading for 6 years. So everyone's always really surprised when they say, when they hear I'm South African, they're like, no, so you're not nomading then? I'm like, no, I'm a nomad. So I travel a lot of the time and come back here about 3 months of the year. And I'm really, really excited to be on here today. Fellow nomad Chris here. Been watching his travels all over the world. And I've been a nomad for 6 years, and it started with me starting my own business, Work Wonders. So it's all about having a global community of digital nomads. And we've run co-livings, meetups, events all over the world, Bali, Cape Town, Egypt, Turkey, since 2019. So it's been going for a while. We're very excited because we are hosting Nomad Week, the first kind of premier nomad conference / festival in Cape Town in March, so in a couple of weeks' time. So that is very, very exciting. We're looking to bring 200 to 300 nomads to Cape Town. And it's really just like a week of socializing, connecting. There's going to be nomad talks, so you can see some really cool speakers there. We're also going to have a social impact day where we're going to volunteer, give back. Cape Town's a beautiful place. If you haven't been, there is so much to do. I don't know if Chris has done everything already. We're going to be doing a winelands day, wine tastings. There's actually 300 wine farms just outside of Cape Town, 45 minutes drive. So we'll be doing that together. And tons of social evenings as well. So I'm very, very excited. So if any of you in Cape Town and you want to do something cool with a bunch of nomads, definitely check out Nomad Week. Because it's something I'm very, very, very thrilled to be hosting. Very excited.
Yeah, seems like a lot of work to host a whole nomad conference. But that's at nomadweek.co if you guys want to check it out. Obviously it's coming up pretty soon, so you got to jump on it quick. But if you're going to be in town or want to know when to go to Cape Town, this is an ideal time to go.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I'll just remove that and then we'll get into the questions. We got one come through while we were doing the intro.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. How's the internet? So I'll tell you a quick little story. My day one, I came to Cape Town and I went to Neighbor Good in Cape Quarter, and this is the first time I've ever arrived at a co-working space, paid for internet, and then it just doesn't work. And then I went to the front desk awkwardly and I was like, hey, the internet, it's connecting, but it's not workable. And there was this guy, I think he was a local, right next to me, And he just goes, "Welcome to South Africa." And I was just like, shit, is this going to be what it's like the whole time that I'm here? Like, because I was like, honestly, I'm just here to see what all the hype is about, to make an objective review on it. But luckily that was just that particular co-working space. I went to one today, Ubuntu, shout out to Emily. She's got like fiber internet, and it's like 120 down, 240 up, something like that. Yeah. Here we're at WeWork right now, and hopefully it's pretty stable. It looks pretty stable, the connection. Yeah, if you can't hear us, let us know. Like the internet hasn't been a problem for me. Did you want to comment on the internet at all?
Yeah, I think, when you come to any developing country, like internet might be an issue or something you need to look into before the time. But all the co-working spaces I've been to have been pretty good. I think Chris has been testing quite a few, so that's great from a Wi-Fi perspective. And then I think one thing to note, though, is at the Airbnbs, I know a lot of you guys stay in Airbnbs. Definitely, I think you should know this as a nomad, but definitely check what the speed is before, because some can be a lot lower than they advertise. And I think on average, the basic internet here is about 20 megabytes up and down, which isn't super fast or great in accommodation. So just check. And sometimes if you are staying a long time, the host can actually upgrade their internet. So it's worth asking.
Yeah, in general with digital nomad stuff, I know some of you guys like to work from home, but part of the reason why I use co-working when I travel is because you really don't know for sure what the internet's going to be like at any Airbnb. So yeah, I always like to co-work. And here we're at WeWork, which I have a membership to. So WeWork's pretty good if you can get in, because it's busy. I'll cover this in my video, but I had to wait like a week and a half to get into WeWork, which has never happened to me before, but apparently it happens in busy cities.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Okay, so continue to post your questions in the chat. I'm going to switch over to some requests from the Instagram audience. So I'm just putting them here as a banner. A couple of people asked about the visa situation. I'm Australian, for those that don't know. For me, it was like 3 months on arrival, no questions asked, actually there was one question asked, what is the purpose of your travel? I said tourism, and he was like, stamp, welcome to South Africa. Obviously as a citizen, no visa situation for you. But yeah, I mean, it differs based on what country you're in. For holders of like tier 1 passports like Australia, Canada, Germany, all that sort of stuff, I think it's probably 3 months. Yeah, 3 months, no problems. The second topic, and I was surprised at how many people requested this. A few people wanted to know about food, which is vague. Like, what does food mean? Like, what do you want to know about the food?
Maybe it's Africa, they're not sure. I don't know.
Do you want to talk about food?
I feel like food is great in Cape Town. It's good. It's really good. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, I've traveled a lot as well. And one thing that am I holding it wrong? Like this? Okay. One thing that I love about Cape Town is you can get any type of food you want, whatever cuisine you can think of. There's very few, I don't actually think there's any cuisine I haven't seen in Cape Town. Anything you haven't seen? I don't know. Maybe our Mexican isn't. There are quite a few Mexican places, but not as good as maybe in the States or something, or in actual Mexico. But yeah, food's great. Also very affordable. So, like, how much would you say? I think an average main meal is about 180 to 220 rand at a nice restaurant, and that's like $17 Australian and maybe like $12 US, right? I don't know if I'm so good at converting currencies.
I know Australian conversion. But
yeah. But generally, it's really good food, high quality, all types of cuisine, and lots of different budget ranges. So if you want to do fine dining, or you just want to do it on the cheap, and there's McDonald's if you want to do that. So
yeah, I would say the food here is like, I don't know if I would call myself a foodie, but food variety is very important to me, and I have no issues with that here. Like, this is one of the reasons why, like, I don't like Brazil, for instance, in terms of the food scene. Where's all the Asian food? In South Africa, perhaps surprisingly, you guys have Asian food here, which I grew up that being completely normal. And if you're from the US, Canada, New Zealand, Asian food is pretty common. But some countries, they just don't do food like that. So here you've got Asian, you've got African, you got fast food chains like KFC, McDonald's, right? And the quality of the meat here for how much you pay is excellent. I think that's like this region of this level of South. Like this is the same around the same longitude. Is it longitude? Latitude of like Sydney or like Buenos Aires, which like Australia has good meat, and also Argentina has good meat as well. So there's something about agriculture in this like latitude which produces good meat, I think. And it's like, yeah, I guess it's like Argentina, good value for money meat.
Yeah, and we pride ourselves on meat here. Weirdly, it's kind of part of our culture. So if you come to South Africa, one thing you have to do is have a braai. Have you had a braai yet? Oh, Chris.
No, I have. I have one with you.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, when do we have a braai? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Rugby.
Yeah, we had a braai, but I was more. Yeah, okay, fine. That was good enough. But a braai is really important. So if you don't know what it is, it's basically a barbecue. But we pride ourselves on the meat. So we always think that we have the best meat and the best type of barbecue, which we call a braai. So if you come here, basically go up to any South African and say, oh, I don't know, I just haven't had a braai yet. And they will invite you immediately to their house and you will have a braai that day.
Yeah, I've been invited to a braai as well. And then I made the mistake of saying, I called it a barbecue. And he's like, don't call it a barbecue. That's offensive. And I'm like, it's the exact same thing as a barbecue, but you just put like certain spices and sauces on it. And they've got their own kind of meats here. What's the like sausage called? It's like boar.
Like boerewors?
Yeah.
Yeah, boerewors.
Look it up.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Like it's just like sausage, and then what else is there? Like steak. We don't braai burgers, so it's not like American braais. You can, but it's just like not like that done. And then it normally has like a bunch of salads on the side, especially potato salad. So yeah.
Oh yes, potato salad. I remember that from Hamilton's Rugby Club. Okay, let's get back to the live questions, and then we'll go back to Instagram. Powell asks about what European country do I like. We're going to keep this relevant to South Africa, so I won't answer that. Maybe if we have time at the end. Okay, so this is alluding to a load shedding, I think, which is funny. So load shedding, until it just came back recently, was away for about a year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So load shedding used to be, and don't worry, I'll let you speak on this, but just from my perspective, like I came here and my host told me load shedding hasn't been a thing. Oh, wait, I should explain for everyone who doesn't know what load shedding is. It's like scheduled power outages because there's not enough power to go around in South Africa. So load shedding, when I arrived, my host told me it hasn't been in effect for like almost a year. And then it got announced that it was coming on. And it was kind of exciting, actually, as a novelty, like, load shedding. I got to rush home and turn on my AC before it turns off. And luckily, like, it only had like 2 periods of load shedding in my area. Like, it only lasted for like 2 days, and it hasn't come back on since. So I can't predict what's going to happen in the future with that. But right now, it's not an issue at this very moment. And the other thing is, I'm not sure, maybe you can speak a bit about this. Certain venues it doesn't affect because they have generators or something, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, there was no load shedding when I was growing up. This only started like, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's super inconvenient. But what is good is it's scheduled, and there's an app. It's called Eskom's The Push, ESP. Yeah, and you can actually see when the power outages are going to happen. But yeah, in terms of generators, I would say a lot of restaurants and more established buildings like malls and stuff have generators, and hospitals, of course. So it's fine. Things still happen when there's power outages, unless it's like a small restaurant or something. And then some fancy Airbnbs actually have generators too. So yeah, then you could actually be okay. Or if they have solar panels, then it's okay too. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I think, we always say TIA. It's like, this is Africa. you just gotta roll with the punches, and you know what I mean. There's some pros and cons, and that's one of them.
Yeah. Do you reckon here at WeWork, like they would probably have generators? And
Yeah, well, actually, in the city, so one thing that's cool if you do stay in the city area, especially near the parliament, conveniently, there is no load shedding. So, so in this area, I doubt there would actually be power outages because it's on a grid in the city where it's not affected, because also the hospital isn't affected. So, yeah, the WeWork should be okay, but we should probably ask them first.
Okay, yeah. Don't quote me on that, guys. All right, so we've gotten our first question about a very important topic that's is a bit tricky, and maybe I'm going to butt heads with Andrea on this one. But safety is a concern for me as well. It's not something that stresses me out necessarily, or like is going to like stop you from enjoying Cape Town, I would say. But it is something that it is something to deal with that you don't have to deal with in other places. And maybe this is a controversial opinion, but comparing it to Brazil, I feel worse here than in Brazil.
I haven't been there, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up here, so I think my whole life I haven't really been as affected. I think the worst thing that's happened to me, fortunately, is that I've just had, I've been pickpocketed while at a bar and stuff, and that happened to me in Ibiza as well. So I think, yeah, from my personal experience, you could say I've been quite fortunate in terms of crime, but this is a developing country, and when you come to places like this, it is a very it's something to be very aware of, and you need to be quite street savvy. So for digital nomads in my community that come here, that I recommend that you just need to be very aware of your belongings, like your phone, your laptop. If you at like a restaurant and it's kind of right by a walkway by the road, then don't leave your phone on the corner of the table. Don't leave your laptop unattended to go to the bathroom, because there is a lot of petty theft. I would say that's probably the biggest thing in terms of crime. And then, yeah, there is quite some hectic stats in terms of crime here in South Africa too. So my best recommendation is stay, especially in Cape Town, in an area that's considered more safe. And most of the people in my community that are nomads, they say they come here every single year and they've never been affected by crime. And I always give them a bit of a doom and gloom, like crime and safety little overview, because I want them to be super aware of what could happen. But they always tell me that I'm being like overly, I'm being a little bit too intense. But I think it's better to know all the facts and to just stay safe as much as possible. So yeah, something that you wouldn't get in other countries, like you need to lock your doors at night. Well, you do that anyways, but there is like,
That's not a big deal.
but no, but like there is, for example, like alarms, and there is like spikes, like what do you call, like fences and spikes and whatever.
Electric fencing.
Yeah, electric fencing to like, avoid burglaries and stuff. So that kind of stuff does happen, and that's why you will see that if you come here. So there are just some extra precautionary things to take note of. And unfortunately, one thing that I would say you would encounter, which is kind of, I would say, gotten a little bit worse or much worse since the pandemic, is like we do have quite a bit of homelessness, especially in the city center. So if you are walking around, especially as a woman by yourself, please don't do that at night, especially in the city, because I wouldn't say that that's very safe. But in the day, you can get Ubers everywhere. It's super easy and quick to get around. It's super affordable. And yeah, on the whole, I would say most nomads I've spoken to haven't really seen this as a huge issue, but definitely something, like I said, to be aware of. And I think there is an element where it's there. You just need to keep it in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit extra on this in terms of practical advice. The main thing is like, don't walk at night. Like that would be like number one. Because even in the good area, like I was telling Andrea that we had a nomad dinner last night, and I was in Sea Point, which is like a nice area. I'm assuming there's a connection between homelessness, begging, and crime, but I don't know for sure. It just feels bad. Yeah. But when I was leaving, I just wanted to go to a store to buy some ice cream before I went home. And like, as I'm coming into the store, people are like begging, like people walked into the store to beg when I was in the store. and then I booked my Uber while I was still in the store and ate my ice cream in the store. But it just felt uncomfortable. During the middle of the day, there's other people on the street and there's broad daylight. You will get some beggars, but you won't really feel as unsafe during the day. So like one time I had to take an Uber just up the street 5 minutes because it was like 10 p.m. at night, and like it's just not worth the risk of walking at night. So that's a bit of annoying. The other thing, and I've even like pulled up a reel here. Andrea didn't even remember this, but they have these guys in the middle of the CBD, because I'm spending a lot of time in the CBD because I'm going to WeWork here. And my local friend Riche, he told me, maybe he's on this stream. If he is, say hi. He told me that there's certain streets in the CBD that are good. Like they're fine. Like he's on Bree Street.
Yeah, Bree's good.
And he's like, okay, like it's pretty okay. But then there's other streets in the CBD where it's like, okay, don't go there. Like I was on Long Street at night and somebody was like, what? And a lot of it, from what he told me, is due to where are the public safety people hanging out. So yeah, if you can see a public safety officer, you're probably pretty safe. But the fact that they even need a public safety officer to keep it safe says something. But yeah, that was something that I thought was interesting because I'd never seen that anywhere else in the world. Obviously, I haven't traveled much of Africa, and there's most of the world I haven't seen. But I just thought that was interesting. I hadn't seen that. So yeah. That's another thing, is like with the safety stuff, is like where to stay.
That's important.
So because of safety, that narrows down where you can stay. So if you find like a super cheap Airbnb in some sketchy area, it's just not worth it because you'll get robbed maybe.
And you won't feel safe the whole time. Yeah, I might be able to just comment on like where, because I think this is really important. And I think it's largely going to affect your entire experience in Cape Town on where you stay. So I always recommend, I think you're staying in the CBD area, right? Like around here, or where are you staying?
No, Gardens to Borskloof.
Tambaskloof. Oh, okay. Yeah, that area is quite okay. I would say at night, I wouldn't walk around there that much. And even like you said, in Sea Point at night, it wasn't that safe, especially that area we were last night, because Mojo Market's right there. And there's a lot of like, it attracts like a lot of homeless people around that little section, which is kind of uncool if you're walking around at night. But yeah, so areas I would recommend if you've got lots of money and you want to bouge it out, I would say Camps Bay, Bantry Bay, Fresnay. Those areas are very safe. Like Camps Bay is very safe at night. I would walk there by myself at night.
Some drone footage of Camps Bay on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I have lived in that area, so I can tell you with a lot of experience that it is quite safe. Still, of course, be cautious, especially around the strip where the restaurants are late at night. People are opportunistic, and that's just what it is. So, but yeah, Camps Bay, Bantry Bay, Fresnay are good areas. Sea Point, Greenpoint are your next level in terms of price. It's pretty expensive. You're paying for safety and also look at those views. You know what I mean? So if you're going to be staying right by the beach, of course, Clifton. But I didn't think any nomad's going to afford Clifton anyway.
The weird thing about Clifton, guys, just briefly, is like, it's interesting. Like if you can see here, there's no shops or anything. Yeah, it's literally just houses on a beach, but it is the like
creme de la creme.
It's the nicest beach, and like the view from the other angle. I'll show you the other angle. This is like, but it gets even better at sunset. I'll show you the sunset. Like so nice. It's like incredible. So if like you live in Clifton, you've made it, right?
Yeah, you made it. I mean, this is the most affluent area in the whole of Africa as a continent, pretty much. So, and it's one of the most expensive property and real estate areas. So if you're coming here and you're wondering why the price is so high when I'm looking for an Airbnb, that's why. And also you can also see the kind of how beautiful it is and your access to blue flag beaches and whatnot. So yeah, you're paying for that. And you also get safety as a result. as a result with your price and location. Sea Point, Greenpoint, a lot of nomads stay here. I would say this is the hotspot hub for digital nomads, especially Sea Point. Then we've got De Waterkant and Tambuskloof, Oranjezicht, I would say is the next best after that, and then Gardens. And then you will see quite a lot of Airbnbs in Woodstock, Observatory. These are gentrified type new areas. I would personally recommend against staying there. Sorry, Airbnb host there, but yeah, I love Cape Town and I want to promote it all. But that area, I used to work in Woodstock, and even in the day, I felt unsafe walking around, especially with the laptop. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Anything outside of those areas, yeah, it's either going to be too far from an Uber perspective or it's not going to be safe. And yeah, there is an area we do have. What would we call it? Informal settlements outside of Cape Town that are known as townships. Guys, please don't go to these areas, not because you can't go there or it's just unsafe, just what it is. There are informal settlements and there is a lot of crime in those areas. And apart from crime, there's a lot of gangsterism in the Cape Flats. And that's where predominantly all our terrible crime stats come from. So it's quite interesting. I would say there are like township tours and there are educational tours about the past in South Africa, which I highly recommend. But I also do think keep safety in mind when you do go into those areas, because even with, a very safe tour guide and all of that, you're still going into a more unsafe area at the end of the day.
Yeah, I want to wrap this one up because we're spending a lot of time on it and there's other topics. To summarize, at night, take Uber. Don't risk it walking around at night is the easy way to say it. And choose the area that you stay wisely. Don't stay in Cape Flats. Not that anyone's going to put an Airbnb in Cape Flats anyway.
There are actually.
Oh, there are? But yeah, choose the area wisely. Andrea went through a list, but also where I'm staying is fine as well. Gardens, Tambuskloof is cool. All right. Let's move on. I missed this one. Do the locals welcome digital nomads?
Do you think I'm not welcoming?
That one's a strange one because they welcome. They're so used to foreigners here. This is the jewel of South Africa. Everyone comes here. There's
like the tourist hub of Africa. One of them, like one of the biggest. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, to put it simply, yes.
We love the foreigners.
This. So everyone speaks English. I wouldn't say. Well, so when you're walking around and you see people talking to each other, there's a lot of speaking another language. I think there's like multiple languages.
Yeah.
Right?
So, well, hopefully I'm right on this, but there's 11 official languages, and English is like the first language of most schools. Like 90% of schools, your first language is English. And then you can choose to do Afrikaans or another African language like Xhosa or Zulu. So yeah, you will hear people speaking different languages, a very multicultural country. So yeah, different languages, but definitely everyone should be able to speak English. And if you do go to very rural areas, then they would speak some English, a smaller amount. But yeah, in the cities, definitely.
Yeah. So I think you said it right. English is the official language. Yeah. So it's like going to Singapore. Like Singapore's the official English is the official language of Singapore. So like if you can get by in Singapore, you can get by here. Like everyone speaks English, so it's not an issue. But if you do want to speak some Afrikaans, I'm sure you can find some people to speak Afrikaans with. And Traveling Thijs wants to know, do you speak Afrikaans?
Ja, ek kan Afrikaans praat. That means I can speak Afrikaans. Yeah, it was my second language in school, so I would say I can speak it. Yeah, kind of normal level. I wouldn't say let's talk economics in Afrikaans. I might struggle, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. We all kind of have all these different languages in the country, but I wish I could speak more of them. I really do, but yeah, they're quite hard. I find the African language actually really hard. Yeah.
Okay. There's some other live questions, but I want to dive back into Instagram audience questions just for now. I hope you guys can be the ones who ask those questions, can be a little bit patient, stick with us. Actually, languages was one of the requested topics on Instagram, so we covered that. That's good. I like that we're killing two questions with one stone, so to speak. Best beaches and best hikes viewpoints, please, with 3 exclamation marks. This person really needs to know. I feel like this is information that can be easily searched online. I guess we can just share our opinions, right? I think, is it a unanimous decision that Clifton is like the best beach?
Oh, the best beaches. Yeah, I'd say probably Clifton. 4th is the most popular beach. They're all blue flag beaches on that side. So you got Clifton 1 to 4.
Sorry, Andrea, what does that actually mean, blue flag beach?
I think it's just like the pristine, they got like a standard. So I don't know, they go rate beaches around the world. So if it's a blue flag beach, it just means like white sandy beaches, like very pristine, high quality. So not all beaches are blue flag. Yeah. Yeah, Clifton 1 to 4. And then Camps Bay Beach is pretty good too. But it could be a little bit windy sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. And best hikes and viewpoints. I haven't done all of them, so I can't say best. I did Lion's Head, which is like you have to do Lions. Well, yeah, and you have to do some point of Table Mountain as well. So I did both.
Did you go up Table Mountain?
Yeah. I went up with Julian and Danielle, and Hassan was there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He knew everything about the hiking. He was like our leader.
He's taking all the photos.
Oh, and he loves taking photos. Yeah.
Shout out to Hassan.
Shout out to Hassan. What was I going to say on that? Oh, yes. Also a good lookout point. Apparently it was a secret like years ago, but now everyone knows about it. The Rock.
The Rock. It's on Google.
Yeah. And it's on Instagram, which is how I found it. The Rock has a beautiful, actually, I've got so much footage. I can show you guys the Rock.
How do you sort through all this footage?
Where did I put it under? I don't want to waste time too long looking at this. The Rock. Maybe I'll search it. That's what it would be. Cape Town. Is this it? No. Okay. I don't want to waste time looking for this file, but yeah, I have a video somewhere on my computer of the view from the Rock. It's a good view. You can just look it up online. One more from Instagram, and then we'll go back to YouTube Live. Where to eat. We kind of talked about food, so I don't want to spend longer on food. Markets. How do you say that one? It's kind of, you have to go to it. It starts with an O. City farm. Yeah, farm market. So it's the Oranjezicht city farm market, something like that. But Oranjezicht, it's funny because that's actually at the waterfront, and Oranjezicht's a different area, so don't get confused. Just put it in Google Maps and go to the Oranjezicht market. That's really nice. It's right by the waterfront, so super convenient, central, and whatnot. The other one that's really good is the Old Biscuit Mill. That one's a little bit more in Woodstock. It's quite cool, quite hipster vibes. Yeah, that one's really cool. I think both are great. They have different vibes to them. And then there's some really good ones in the Winelands. I quite like Blauwklippen. I was there actually on Sunday. They have some really nice food stalls, and it's on a wine farm, so it's kind of cute. And then Route 44 is another big one, also in the Winelands. So you have to take a drive, but you can just get an Uber. It's fine. Yeah, you know way more than me about this topic. I only know that one. If you're like me and don't know how to spell Oranjezicht, it's the one like that's near DHL Stadium in Greenpoint. Or right by the waterfront, the V&A waterfront. Yeah, it's right by the V&A waterfront. So if you search that area, look for markets in that area, you'll find it, because I don't know how to spell it or pronounce it. Malls, I don't really go to malls. I didn't really go to malls. Like Cape Town's not the city to go to malls, I think. It's a nature city, but yeah, just go to the V&A waterfront if you want to go to a mall, or if you really want to go shopping, you can go to Century City / Canal Walk. But I always get lost in there, and it's like quite big. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, V&A waterfront mall is kind of like in this like touristy area. So like as a tourist, if you like going to touristy malls, go to that one. The last one, can you use your SIM card? It's funny wording on that question, but yes, getting set up with a SIM card on arrival, really easy. It's not like some other countries like Brazil, where it's like a pain in the ass. You can just rock up to the airport, and I looked around for, there's a stand for Vodacom. Yeah, it's interesting. Same branding as Vodafone, but it's Vodacom. And I had to look it up because I was so curious. Apparently, it's like two companies that merged together, and that's why it's Vodacom, not Vodafone. But then they decided to switch the branding to Vodafone later, but still call it Vodacom. But yeah, it's basically like Vodafone, but Vodacom, right? So you can find them at the airport. I paid like, I think it was like 500 and something rand, which didn't seem that cheap to me, but the convenience of just getting it done at the airport, it works. It's a data only thing, so I don't have airtime to call people, which I rarely need that. You just need your WhatsApp and your maps and stuff like that. And I did have to top up once while I was here, and I just went to the Vodacom store. I did go to a corner store first, and they were like going to charge me these packages that were like seemed pretty expensive for what they were. But then I went to Vodacom store, and they had another option. You can buy these bundles, 10 plus 10 for, what was it, like not much. Like I can't remember honestly, but it was reasonable. So you're not going to have issues with connectivity. South Africa doesn't make it a pain in the ass for you like some other countries. Did you want to comment on SIM cards at all? No, it's more of like a tourist thing because, like, obviously, if you live in the country, you know how to do a phone.
It's quite simple, quite easy. We'll get Iralo if you want.
We covered visas before, but I just realized that we didn't cover like staying long term. I don't want to spend too long on this because it's a topic you talk for a whole hour on long-term stays. So maybe you know more about this. I actually didn't look into it. And just to go through the rest of the question, which countries are the digital nomads mostly from? I noticed something when I was here that it is very popular with Europeans, mainly Dutch and Germans. So you will see a lot of Dutch and Germans, and I put on my thinking cap to figure out why, did some research and found that there's like direct flights from Munich, Frankfurt, Amsterdam. So in like 11 hours, you can take a direct flight to Cape Town. The sun is shining. We're looking out the window now. It's blue skies, and it's probably rainy and overcast right now in those other countries. So it makes sense. Oh, same time zone as well. So huge sort of selling point for those people. And another thing about Cape Town, which I'm going to cover in my video, hugely seasonal destination for foreigners. Everyone wants to come here during summer. Nobody really comes here during winter.
It's rainy.
And Cape Town was beautiful when we went in 2009. Yes, it's still beautiful. We can confirm that.
The mountains still there.
The mountains are still there. I mean, the natural beauty is just not going to go away, is it? Unless somebody does something stupid and destroys it. But it's pretty hard to take down those mountains. Do you know anything about the visa situations for long term and keeping in mind that we don't want to talk too long on this?
Okay. So there's just like a new visa called the remote work visa now, and you can actually get a visa for 3 years in South Africa. I think you need, I looked this up because I was actually a consultant with the government giving them info on nomads. And their first review of it wasn't like a great visa, but now they've extended to 3 years. I think you need to make $37,000 a year to qualify. And yeah, I don't know why
it's in rands maybe?
I don't know what it is in rands. I just remember the $37,000 because most people ask me that are foreigners. And then, I think you have to be a remote worker though. So you have to show a salary and be employed by a foreign company that's established. So that's as much as I know. So definitely go do your research. I think there are some tax obligations. So definitely don't ask me that. But yeah, that's pretty much the visa thing. And then what did you ask where nomads are from? Oh, Holland. Yeah, a lot of Europeans, like Chris said. Also, there's a lot of Dutch and German influence, from back in the day. So that's also why a lot of them come here too. Afrikaans is a kitchen dialect or a version of Dutch, basically. They call it kitchen Dutch. So yeah, but a lot of US, UK, Canadians as well. And only a few Australians.
Yes, I have my theory on why Australians don't come here, but I will maybe cover that in the video or at the end of this stream if we have time. Okay, so this Leon's asking, is Airbnb the best way to get a place in Cape Town? I feel like I have to sell my kidneys in 2025 to afford Airbnb outside of Southeast Asia. Yes, so do not expect Southeast Asian prices on Airbnb out here. Certain things are ridiculously, not ridiculous, like very cheap from my perspective, like coffee and like beer is really like you can have a nice drink at a bar and it's like super cheap. Anyway, what I'm getting at here is the accommodation is the one thing that is, I would say, is not cheap about Cape Town. I think it's for 3 reasons. One, this is a seasonal destination, so everyone floods in at the same time. Number 2, it's like the hottest place in Africa, like for internationals, right? So like this is the hottest place you can be in South Africa, Africa in general, probably. And what was my third reason? I had it written down, but basically it's like high demand. The third reason is you're limited in terms of the areas you can stay due to safety. Yeah. So like you can't just like stay in the middle of nowhere where it's cheaper because you risk crime, you know? So those 3 factors contribute. I think, this is just my theory, I haven't done economic research on this or anything, that, you know, that's why the prices are so high. But yeah, I told some friends what I'm paying here for my Airbnb, which I'll cover in the video, you know, thousands of USD. And they're like, wow, like, you know, in Bali, you could spend the same amount and get a really baller place. Not a super baller place, but like, you know, you could multiple bedrooms and stuff. And yeah, it's like, like coming from that, I guess I'm a bit spoiled. So I'm like coming here, I'm just like, okay, I've got a nice basic place, but you know, I could have spent that money. Imagine spending $2,000 in Vietnam, for instance, like Da Nang. If you spend $2,000, you would just get such a nice place. Sure, yeah. Did you want to comment on this?
Yeah, I have a tip maybe. So Airbnb is really expensive, but if you're going to stay long term, most nomads now are looking for next year accommodation already. So, you know, we don't like to book in advance normally or commit too much, but they are actually asking me now, like, can I book now for next year? And they are. So the tip is book in advance. Number 2 is check out Property 24. It's like a local property real estate website. And what's cool about that is you can kind of negotiate with the landlords because landlords can put their own property on there. It doesn't have to go through agents. And then, yeah, I guess another tip would also be trying to negotiate on Airbnb as well. But like Chris said, prices on accommodation here is what you're going to pay, but everything else lifestyle wise is really cheap. So rather splurge on that. And then the rest is going to be pretty affordable, for sure.
Except Virgin Active Silo District, which they want 8,000 Rand for a month.
I've got a secret gem actually. Yeah, I got like this. I don't know if I should say this on here because.
Oh yeah, if it's a secret, this is going out to the world.
Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna share it. They probably need more customers. There's this gym in town called Renaissance Gym, and I don't go to gym that much, so I don't like to pay a lot for gym. But when I'm here, it's only 300 Rand a month for 9 sessions, and for like 500 Rand, it's unlimited. It's a small gym, so not like a Virgin Active, but it's very like high like quality and stuff. And it's really cheap.
That's like in US dollars, like under 20, I think.
It's like $25, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so the Virgin Actives here, like they want to get you on year contracts, and if you do only a month, that's the minimum you can do, and they charge a huge premium compared to what you would do month to month for a year. But if you take those out of the equation, you can get affordable gyms.
One more tip on the accommodation. Definitely join the Nomad like WhatsApp community groups. Like I run one, but there are multiple. And we have, for example, an accommodation subgroup where there's 450 people on there, including owners in Cape Town. And that's the best way to negotiate like a good deal because it's directly with the landlord and they posting every day like properties there. Yeah.
Yeah. A few things came to mind when we were talking then, but most recently the property thing. I know some people I get the question a lot, like how do you find accommodation places? I always just say Airbnb, but you pay a markup, and I think it's a pretty high margin here. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do the work to really like spend a lot of time on WhatsApp chats, Facebook groups to find, I don't know if they use Facebook groups in Cape Town, but yeah, if you're really going to spend the time, but I guess the number one tip I would give people is to do it in advance. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely do it in advance, almost like 9+ months in advance. So get in early, then you're going to save a bunch of money. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of crappy in the sense that like some people love this place so much they're like, yep, I'm going to come back every summer. I've booked my place for a year in advance, like you said. That's not me. So like I would want to like, book it 2 months out. I would say don't book even 2 weeks out if you're coming here. Like do not leave it last minute. I booked mine, geez, when was it? Maybe like September, October, November, in that region. And it still wasn't cheap, but I've seen some deals come through the WhatsApp chats. So yeah, look into that. And then there was another thought I had. I think it was like on the gyms or something. Oh yes. Very easy to keep active in Cape Town outside of gym. So if you're not set on lifting weights, I did beach yoga, I did beach volleyball, I did hikes. The hiking groups are free, the beach volleyball is actually free unless I was supposed to pay. Maybe I was supposed to pay. I played for like 5 minutes and just chatted to people the rest of the time, which is what most people do. So like I think I'll cover it in my video. I didn't do just gym when I was here. I did like all sorts of things because you want to be outside enjoying the destination when you like, and you can do a hike. So it's a little bit of exercise plus an adventure plus enjoying the destination. So that's like, might as well do something that's like enjoying the destination and fitness as well, at least for me being here a month.
And the promenade and Sea Point, because a lot of nomads stay there, but just general people stay there. And there's just people running up and down the promenade, like in the mornings, evenings, sunset, whole day, basically. It's just like a long boardwalk right next to the sea. So it's quite nice to exercise if you like running.
Yeah, and related to that is something that I think it was Alex Vite that put this in the chat. It's not really a question. I think he's just giving us suggestions to this was on Instagram, so I don't think he's tuned in. He's probably working, but yeah, he put this in the chat. I mean, yes, there's Lloyd. Oh, sorry, I'm dropping names here as if the audience knows them. We have 2 friends here who have been surfing together. Moisen. I don't surf. I'm a terrible Australian, but how do you pronounce it?
Muizenberg
is like the best place to surf, right?
It's definitely the best for beginners.
Yeah. If you're a noob, go to Muizenberg. We talked about hiking. I don't know what he means by West Coast.
Yeah, the West Coast. What are they saying?
He just wrote surfing, hiking, garden route, West Coast.
Yeah, on the West Coast, there's like an area called Elands Bay, and that's like very popular with surfers. They have really good waves there. But if you're a good surfer, then you could go there, or you could go surf at Llandudno. Llandudno's got big waves, so yeah. And Glen Beach is okay, but more for bodyboarders.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know nothing about this topic. Garden route is like a road trip you can go on. No.
Oh yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, it's the best. It's famous.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not going to go into like a long spiel about the garden route, but you have to do it. It's amazing. There's all these coastal towns to stop at. You can go bungee jumping. You can go to game reserves. And then, yeah, there's a ton of activities. So just do your research and definitely do it. Don't miss it. And spend at least 5 days. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's move on. We've only got about 10 minutes left. I believe we covered this. This was from, I think, Remote Oliver sent this through. So hello, Oliver. If he's watching this, probably isn't as well. But maybe you'll watch it later. Who knows? Yeah, so power and Wi-Fi outages. We already covered that. The best coffee. Coffee for me is just coffee. I don't know. Keeping in mind we have only got 10 minutes left, do you know any what would be the best coffee?
Guys, I don't even drink coffee, so I'm the worst person to ask. Okay. I know people go to Seattle Coffee Co. quite a lot and say it's good, but yeah, don't quote me.
Yeah. Let's move on because coffee is coffee to me. And then one more from Instagram. This is the last one, and then we'll just go to audience questions from you guys in the live stream. Are the beaches better than Brazil? I guess this is more of a question like, remind me, have you been to Brazil? Oh, okay, yeah. So this is more of a question for me. Yeah, from my friend who I met in Brazil. It's different. So like Brazil, for me, the beaches, the main attraction is that it's like a beach club on the beach. You go on the beach and it's crowded full of people sitting on chairs with like umbrellas, and like you can drink on the beach, and have music and people playing football. It's like a beach club environment on the beach, and like not everywhere in Brazil, but in Rio and a lot of cities. Not so much in Floripa when I was there, but that being said, do you have a beach that looks like this in Brazil? Probably not. That is just insane. Like you can't get past this view.
So beautiful.
I think that's world class. Like I don't think that you could get that anywhere else in the world. That being said, that's just Clifton. And obviously we looked at Camps Bay before. This one's Camps Bay on your screen now. So just the rocks, the beach, the mountains in the background, that is just so unique. And you're not really, I mean, you do have like Sugarloaf Mountain and the Doce Mons in like Brazil, in Rio. But I think this is like takes the cake in terms of like an insane view. But it's not the same vibe on the beach at all. Like I mentioned, it's not really a beach club vibe on the beach. But let me see if I can present friends who volley on here, because that's kind of cool. It's not so much a party on the beach, but it's like a bit of a volleyball meetup as the sun is setting. I've got it somewhere in here. Meetup groups, friends who volley. Oh, I don't know which one of these is the best clip, but let's try this. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so look at this. Like, sun is setting, beach volleyball. The rest of the people are just chatting on the side there. So this is as close to the Brazil vibe as you're probably going to get in Cape Town, South Africa. Cool. So yeah, we'll go back to the live audience questions. Do you guys not do backpackers accommodation? Did you want to comment on this? Or?
Yeah, I don't really stay in hostels much anymore, but if you do want to stay in a backpackers or hostel, I would say Never at Home with an @ sign is kind of a good one. Mojo Market actually has a hostel in it, so a lot of people stay there, and you get your own room, but it's kind of like a hostel vibe, kind of. It's very small rooms though, and yeah, there used to be a few other ones. There's one called Wonderlux, which is also in Sea Point, not a bad one. And there's a few in town, but yeah, just check the reviews. I think Villa View is all right. Yeah, that's all I can remember now. But yeah, just check their reviews. The ones in town, like Chris said, at night it's not so safe. So just keep that in mind. Sea Point's a little bit better. Yeah.
Cool. Same person says beach running is massive too.
Beach running?
Running alongside the beach, I wouldn't run on the sand itself, especially since the beaches aren't connected usually. But running a lot around the coast, like on the promenade or anything like that, is beautiful. Leave the gym alone. Cape Town is about being outside. So yeah, like I didn't find, I mean, when I went to Virgin Active Silo, so this is one is like the fanciest gym in Cape Town, I was like, okay, this is going to be special. I'll sign up. And then they said 8,000 Rand with a straight face. And I was just like, wait, let me do the conversion on that. And I was just like, what? And then like my friend said, don't pay that. That's ridiculous. What is 8,000 Rand? And just for the viewers listening, in like USD, to USD, 430 USD. So it would be the most expensive gym I've ever been to in my life. By far, I did last year, the most expensive gym was Body Factory in Bali, 260 USD. And this one's like 430 USD. And the price per month, if you do a year, is like half that. So I'm just like, why are they marking it up by 200%, like 100%? So like that aside, I didn't find any gyms that are like impressive. One of the spaces that I'll cover in my video, though, somebody gave me a tip on a yoga studio called One Flow, and they have sauna and ice bath and all of that. So I'm actually going there tonight with somebody I met in Bali. But it's not like Bali in the sense that like we still had to book to use the sauna. It's not like, these incredible, I'm spoiled again in Bali with the gyms there. So like I wanted to do something that was a bit more special to the destination. So friends who volley, the volleyball meetup on the beach, doing these trail runs. If you've been following me on Instagram, you've probably seen some of this stuff, like insane views while you're doing a physical activity. So I think that's one of the cool things about Cape Town to take advantage of. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say anything on that before I move on?
I think you covered it.
Okay. Is Stellenbosch popular with nomads? Is it worth staying for a month? Interesting, because I only went there for the wine tractor. We just went to wineries as a day trip, but it is Stellenbosch, the town is actually a university town, right?
Yeah,
and does anyone do you know of any digital nomads that stay there?
Well, I actually studied in Stellenbosch, so I've lived there. And back then, they definitely weren't nomads, but I don't know. I think there are some nomads who do stay out that way, Stellenbosch, Franschhoek area. Stellenbosch is definitely more vibey, but it's a student town. I mean, I felt old at 22, so I don't know how you're going to feel in terms when you go out. There's a lot of sloppy 19, 20-year-olds. But it's a cool place and it's very beautiful. So I think if you like the country life and you want to be, I guess, outside of the city, more in the winelands, yeah, you could do it. You might just feel a bit isolated. There's definitely no nomad community activities there. We do all of them here in Cape Town, in the city, plus Sea Point area that I know of. So if anyone does that, yeah, comment in the comments so that we can find out. Yeah.
Comment in the comments. All right. So we got 3 minutes left and we've done all the questions. So we'll wrap it up there. If you are watching this and you have enough freedom to come to Nomad Week next month, nomadweek.co is where you can find that out. In general, if you're not coming during those specific dates, I definitely recommend joining Andrea's community, Work Wanderers. I got sent all these different WhatsApp chats when I first came here, and some of them I just had to leave because it was absolute trash. Some is conscious community with all this woo-woo stuff, wasn't my thing. Another one is just is anyone selling tickets to this event? Anyone selling tickets to this event? Annoying stuff. But Andrea's WhatsApp chat is hey guys, we got these community events on this week if you want to join. And then I found the community to be super welcoming. In terms of nomad community, if you want to meet people, I'd look no further than they just search Work Wanderers somewhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you guys want the link to that WhatsApp group, maybe request it in the comments and we can send it or put it there or something. But yeah, you kind of need to find the link to the WhatsApp group, basically. Okay. But if you want to kind of just join our general community, you can go to workwanderers.com. There is a community that you can just jump on there. It's free. And then from there, you can just post and then we'll give you the link to the WhatsApp groups. Yeah.
Cool. And then, like I said, guys, this is not the only piece of content I'll be making on Cape Town. Stay tuned to the channel for my digital nomad summary in my usual Chris the Freelancer style. I'll cover co-working options, the other similar stuff to what we covered on this video, actually. What else? I mean, if you want to learn Shopify theme development, you can head to shopifythemedeveloper.com. I noticed there were some questions about work stuff. If you guys want me to do a live stream specifically on work stuff, like what I do for work, how to make money doing this stuff, you can hound me for that. But I just want to make sure there's going to be enough people tuning in about that topic before I do a live stream on it. It's more of something that my other channel, which is specialized to Shopify, is interested in. But yeah, happy to jump on a live stream for that. I just wanted to make today specific to Cape Town, South Africa. And I feel like we've done well within just 1 hour. We got 30 seconds until it's 1 hour. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Glad it was helpful, or hope it was helpful to the rest of you guys. And yeah, stay tuned to the YouTube channel. If they want to follow you on Instagram or wherever.
There's a few places, but you can go to Work Wanderers with an A. It's kind of like a dark blue W. And then you can go to nomadweek.co if you want to check out the event. That's the Instagram handle. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's the Nomad Coach. Yeah. So you can find me there.
Amazing. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. And I'll catch you later on the channel. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram if you want to interact with me, or yeah, just the usual channels. All right. So thanks for joining, and thank you for joining us today and agreeing to do this stream.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, guys. And I hope to see you all in Cape Town very soon.
See you in Cape Town.
See you guys. Bye.